So I've already filmed this video once today, so if this doesn't go right, there's going to be tears and it's just not going to be very attractive. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you've all been really well. If you have seen my first ever YouTube video, which was a few weeks ago, my socially distanced bookstore vlog, I think it was called, in that I said towards the end of the video that I really wanted to do an indie bookstore haul. If you haven't seen my first ever YouTube video that was a couple of weeks ago, surprise! In that I said I wanted to do an indie bookstore haul. You getting it? You're getting it. If you want to go and see that video, by the way, I will leave a link somewhere down here. But actually it sort of doesn't matter because this isn't that video. And the reason that this isn't that video is because this is technically an indie bookstore haul. Lost my voice there for a second. This isn't technically an indie bookstore haul because I do have a couple of books in here that aren't from indies. So the first 3 books I have to share, you will have seen already if you've seen my first video. Really plugging that as hard as I possibly can. And that's because these books are all from Toppings, which is, if you didn't already know, a chain of independent bookstores here in the UK. The Toppings here in Edinburgh opened about a year ago and it is just gorgeous. You know, it's a beautiful building, it's so magical, it's so lovely. They've got the slidey bookstairs. They've got the slidey book ladder things. They've got just lovely, gorgeous staff who are so nice and who will bring you free tea and coffee. It's just a lovely, lovely store. And so from Toppings, I've got these 3 books you might remember. So to start off, I have the Schwabs Dark Shade of Magic, which is the first in a series that I should have read a really, really long time ago. It's just kind of, there's quite a few big book series that I haven't gotten to yet just because they came out when I wasn't reading a lot of fantasy, or when I was at uni kind of thing, and I had other things that I needed to be reading. This is one of them. There are plenty. There are so many books that I should have read. And I picked this up for a few reasons, partly because V. Schwab is sort of local to Edinburgh. She's like me, she isn't Scottish, but she lives here. And because I do I don't know, I was just quite drawn to the cover. A lot of V. Schwab's covers are this black, white and red deal, and I don't normally love covers with like this, the silhouette thing, but I do like this one. And I also picked it up because even though I've seen people talk about this book on Twitter and on Instagram, when I used to have Instagram, I used to see it all the time. I literally, I have no idea what happens, what they're about. Normally with, you know, these big book series, you know, you pick up a couple of things like sort of just gradually, but I have no idea about these books at all. So that really intrigued me. The basic premise is that, that's a good question, what is the basic premise? There are parallel universes. There's Grey London, White London and Red London. Some have magic, some don't, and they're all kind of interconnected. Not that many people can walk through between the universes, but the main character of this book can, and it's all very mysterious so far. As you can sort of see, I'm reading this one already, but I'm not that far in. Even though I am enjoying it, I am sort of still very unsure about what's going to happen, but I will keep you updated. Second book I have from Toppings is Sylvia Moreno Garcia's Mexican Gothic, which I'm sure you'll have heard about. It's a really, really huge book at the moment, and I can actually say, I won't say too much because I'll do this talk about this all again in a wrap up at the end of the month, but I can definitely say that the hype about this book for me personally is really, really, definitely so well deserved. I picked it up because obviously of all the hype, and particularly because people that I really respect had said that it was very good. My friend Gabbie, I'll leave the link to her blog in my description, had said that it was great, and she's always right about these things. I really, really trust her. And I also just was really drawn to the cover, which I think is gorgeous and so deceptively interesting. All of it just kind of, I think, just tells a really interesting story, and actually this is a cover that I think expresses the book and the atmosphere of the book so well. Actually, I could talk a lot just about this cover. I won't, don't worry. But yeah, I was really drawn to the book. I wanted to see if it was up to the hype. I've read it now. I can confirm that it absolutely is. All good. It's all good. And then the third book that I have from Toppings is Sabaa Tahir's An Ember in the Ashes, which is again another really big fantasy series that I should have read a long time ago, and again for the same reason as Schwabs, I just hadn't been reading a lot of fantasy, which is weird because fantasy is my genre, but just sometimes you have slumps. And it's taken me a while to get to it. The premise of this book is essentially that Leia is a scholar, her people are called scholars, and they were conquered before the start of the series by the Martial Empire. And her, Leia, the main character, her brother was arrested by the Martial Empire, and she makes a deal with a resistance movement to try and get him out of prison, that's the word, and they agree, the resistance movement agreed to do that if she will go and spy at the Martial Empire's military academy. And then the other main character of the book, Elias, is a recruit at that military academy and seems like the perfect student, but actually it's all a facade and it's all their stories interweave. I've actually also read this now, and yeah, really, really good. Really good. Next load of books I have are from the Portobello bookstore, which is another independent bookstore here in Edinburgh, and actually another bookstore here in Edinburgh that opened just last year. Again, it's completely gorgeous. It's right by the beachfront, and it's a really modern building. So it's really full of light, and it's really cool in there. It's a really lame way of describing it, but that's sort of the best I've got. So obviously you'll have heard of this one. This is Leah Johnson's You Should See Me in a Crown. It's huge at the moment. It's been a bestseller. Everyone's talking about it. From what I hear, again, all the hype's super well deserved. And again, this is another one actually that Gabbie said to read. I'm really excited about this book. The basic plot is that the main character, Liz, needs money to go away to college and remembers that her school offers a scholarship to the person who wins prom queen. It's all about kind of simultaneously her campaigning for that, also her falling in love with another girl, which isn't really a spoiler because it's on the back of the book, and I'm just really excited. Yeah, this is I think going to be my next read because I really I want to be reading it right now, to be honest. And then the second book I ordered is a book I actually know way less about. This is Camp by Elsie Rosen. The plot is the main character Randy has been going away to Camp Outland, which is a camp for queer teens, for years now, and he loves it, and it's always been a really important place for him. But this summer's camp is going to be different because he's given himself like a full makeover, a full life makeover, because he's determined he's going to win over his crush, Hudson. Which obviously, you know, already just is a recipe for trouble, because we need people to just love us the way we are. It's not that easy. Oh, I mostly picked it up, one, because of the cover. I love the way when you get up close, like this is obviously like bedazzled, and like the texture here as well. But also I was really excited to see a queer teen story that isn't necessarily a coming out story, and I just think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really, yeah, really good. Then I also have 2 books that I didn't get from an indie. I just got them from Blackwell's, which is a chain here in the UK, if you didn't know. And I got, these were 2 books that I specifically went out knowing that I wanted them, and Blackwell's was convenient. So the first book I have is Mouthful of Blood, which is a collection of Toni Morrison's essays and other non-fiction. I'm a huge fan of non-fiction anyway. I'm particularly a really big fan of like essays and memoirs. I always have a couple of non-fiction compilations handy, because I find them really easy to read even when I'm having a slump. I have read other essays by Toni Morrison. I read quite a lot of Toni Morrison for my undergrad dissertation, and yeah, I'm really excited to dive into this one, but I also don't want to just mindlessly read it. I really want to absorb it and learn from it. You can see I have little stickies already. Really make sure that I fully take it in. So I am reading this one, but I'm not going to rush my way through this one. I'm going to read this while I read it, so I can take my time over it. And then I also have Kylie Reid's Such a Fun Age, which you will have heard of. Again, a book with so much hype, and again I'll talk about this late in another video, but the hype definitely is worth it. Please read this book. So I did pick this one up because of the hype, but also just the premise really intrigued me, and I had read little bits of it, and Kylie Reid just, I've never read a writer who just nails character like she does, and that's kind of all I'll say for now, but so good. I'm so glad I read it. It's this beautiful, I have this beautiful hardcover copy with a dust jacket that I've already slightly wrecked. It is beautiful, but I'm not sure about these white covers because it has just picked up dirt. It's this gorgeous kind of white, bright copy, and it has these end papers, which are kind of these candy stripes, and then eggshells for numerous reasons, which I don't really want to talk about because spoilers, but again, there's a book cover that I could really talk about a lot. I won't, but I could. So that was it. That was my end of summer book haul. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you could like it, comment or subscribe, any of those things, all of those things, some of those things, it would be really cool. If you want to support any of the bookstores that I mentioned in the video, I will leave links in the description. I'll also leave my links in the description, my Twitter, my blog, and you can find me there if that is something that you would like to do. Thank you again. I've had the best time making the video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Look after yourselves. See you next time. Bye.